Hi everybody, happy Friday, or whichever day you might be tuning into this video. Thank you so much for continuing to join or for joining for the first time. I'm very happy to be able to release these weekly videos. It's given me something to look forward to every week, hopefully you as well. A quick thank you to everybody who's found a way to donate to the past practices. If you do find yourself in a comfortable position to make a donation and you're interested in doing so, the transferred information is in the video description below the video. It is by no means necessary. I know we're all navigating personal situations right now, some of which are financial, all of them are confusing. So, with that said, do whatever feels right. We'll take that same idea into this practice today. The practice is somewhat of a straightforward vinyasa practice, so I'm going to take you through kind of a, let's call it a normal or traditional vinyasa series with a few little bells and whistles added in. The idea being that no matter what level you are, how long you've been practicing, how familiar you are with the practice, you'll be able to take something away from this practice today. So we'll start right away in a comfortable seat. As always, if you do have a block, a prop of some sort nearby, it's not necessary today, but you might already want to sit up onto something. Elevate the pelvis a little. If your hips are feeling a little tight, if your back is feeling a little bit tight, just so you can find this really tall, elongated spine. If you're feeling sleepy, lethargic, low energy, like I am, palms of the hands are facing up in a receiving posture. If you're feeling a little bit excited, you have some nervous energy, a little jittery, palms facing down to connect with a more grounding sensation. So you can choose hand position that works for you, and then very slowly let the eyes soften, eventually closing, and the breath begins to take over. These first few minutes are a transition gently from whatever came before this practice today. Whether you just rolled out of bed or you've had a whole day before you, allowing these first few moments to let any excess information, stimulus, melt away. By closing the eyes, we're inviting this sort of inward gaze. You can think the same with the rest of your senses. So imagine that you could turn down the volume of any sounds you hear around you, any smells, any tastes, any sensations physically, so that you're really being informed by what's happening internally rather than externally. Easier said than done. But that's our focus for these first several breaths. And as you start to notice this softening of the mind, maybe fewer fluctuations, fewer thoughts coming in, start to deepen the breath. Spend more time bringing air into the lungs, and more time letting the air leave the body. Keeping the eyes soft or closed. Next breath in, the arms float overhead. The palms can touch if they reach comfortably. If not, you can leave the palms separated. By lifting the arms, you just create a little bit more space around the rib cage for a deep breath in. Exhale, hands come to meet in front of the heart, prayer pose. Keeping the eyes soft or closed. As you exhale, let the chin float down toward the chest. So a little bow of the head. Inhale, chin floats up to the sky. Exhaling, chin to chest. Inhaling, chin to sky. So we're taking a very slow motion nod with the head, connecting each movement to a breath, either in or out. Next, inhale, head floats back to a neutral position. Eyes start to gently flutter open. Let the hands find their way back to the legs. We'll let the right ear fall toward the right shoulder. And back to center. Very slowly, head falls to the left, center, continuing right and left, a few times on each side. And then as you're ready, very slowly starting to draw circles with the head in one direction, nice and smooth. Trying not to skip over any parts of this circle. So if a certain area feels a little bit harder to navigate, maybe you get a little stuck, just take your time to work through it. And circling the other direction. Coming back through center with the head. If you are seated on a prop, you can move it out of the way. We'll uncross the feet, step the feet into the floor, hands behind you, and let the knees fall right and left a few times. Taking any tension out of the low back, the hips. Planting 2 feet into the mat. Fingers are facing the pelvis. We'll float the pelvis high for an altar pose. You can either stay looking out over the knees, or if it's comfortable for the neck, let the head float back off the spine. Wherever you are, one full breath cycle. In through the nose, out through the nose, pelvis descends, landing on the ground. Hugging the knees in toward the chest, bring the hands underneath the knees. And if you'd like, you can start to lift the shin bones parallel to the floor for a gentle boat pose, Navasana. Deep breath in. Full breath out. As you exhale, we'll cross the legs again, this time bringing the other foot in front. So the one that doesn't naturally want to go in front. Sitting up nice and tall, arms are overhead, freeing that space around the rib cage. Exhale, taking a twist to the left side. Right fingers, come forward. So the left fingers are behind you, pressing down into the floor, allowing the spine to lengthen. Inhaling here, puff up the lungs. Exhale, twisting even deeper. Deep breath in, coming through center, 2 arms high. Exhale, twisting to the right side. So now the left arm crosses the body. Use the right fingertips as anchors, stabilizers. Deep breath in. And twisting even deeper, exhale. Inhaling, 2 arms overhead. As you exhale, hands find the legs. We'll start to circle the shoulders up and back. So the same as the head circles. Take your time to really smooth out the circle. Noticing if you get a little bit stuck in one area and work your way gently through. Gradually coming to stillness, and we'll start to find circles in the other direction. So the shoulders move back, up, forward, and down. Checking that you're not holding any unnecessary tension in the jaw, the neck. So we're activating the shoulders here, but you can let everything around the shoulders start to engage and soften. Inhale, 2 arms overhead. As you exhale, making your way onto hands and knees, however you'd like to get there. We'll arrive with hands underneath shoulders, knees about hip distance apart. The gaze is looking just down between the thumbs, so the back of the neck stays lengthened. With an inhale, start to float that gaze forward along the mat, up along the wall in front of you as the tailbone lifts as well. Cow pose. Exhale, drawing that line back to curve the spine. Cat pose. Really focusing on what your eyes can see. Seeing everything that your eyes pass in front of. Exhaling cat. Inhaling cow. Exhale cat. Once more in each direction. Next inhale, coming to a neutral spine. Send your right leg back behind you. Float it until it's roughly parallel to the floor. Big toe is really spiraling down. Taking a look back, make sure your toe is pointing directly to the floor. You can stay here with 2 hands down or add the left arm forward for a balance. Deep breath in. Wherever you are, whether it's 2 hands or 1 hand down, exhale, draw the right knee in. If the arm is lifted, bring the elbow along for the ride. Inhale to expand. Exhale to curve. Thinking of that cat and cow in the spine. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale to stretch in opposite directions. Option to stay here or to bind. Find that back foot with the left hand. One more breath wherever you are. Gently release that back foot if you've bound, and find your way back to hands and knees. Pouring your weight into your left hand, right fingers reach up to the sky. Exhale, thread the right arm beneath the left. Shoulder finds the floor. Option to stay here or add the left fingertips up to the sky. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Left hand finds the floor. Press down to rise up. Right fingers reach the ceiling. Then coming back to hands and knees. Sitting the hips back to the heels. Reaching arms in front of you for Balasana, child's pose. Forehead is resting on the mat for 3 breaths. Next, inhale, shifting yourself forward. Shoulders land right over the wrists. Left leg floats back behind you. Check that big toe points directly to the floor. Option to keep 2 hands firmly on the mat or reach the right arm forward. Deep breath in. Reach your heel away from you. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to extend. Exhale to curve. Twice more. Use your breath. The breath will really determine the length of each action. Next time you extend, option to stay here, finding your balance, or reaching up and around, find your back foot. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Extending on an inhale. Landing hand and knee to the floor, pouring weight into the right hand, left fingers reach up to the sky, and thread that left arm beneath the right arm. Option to stay or to reach the right fingers high. Exhale, right hand finds the mat, press down, unfurl that left arm reaching to the sky, and back to hands and knees, toes tuck. Hips lift up and back for downward facing dog. Our first down dog of the practice, it can stay really soft, really supple. The knees can bend, head is hanging. Any soft, subtle little movements here that help you settle in. With a big breath in, lift both heels away from the mat. Send the tailbone up to the sky like you're sticking your butt up to the ceiling. As you exhale, the right knee bends, the left heel moves toward the floor. Inhale, both heels lift, send the tailbone to the sky, and switching sides. So we're pedaling through the feet, alternating right and left. And continue with this pedaling. We start to actually move the feet, walking them forward toward the hands. No need to speed up here. In fact, you might even want to slow down to really experience this roll through the foot. Eventually, the knees might need to bend even more. Maybe the hands leave the mat for a moment. And we'll arrive at the top of the mat in Uttanasana, forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need here. Head is heavy. Beginning a very slow roll up. The tailbone fills with cement, gets really heavy. And one by one, the vertebrae stack onto the spine. Head is the last thing to arrive. Inhaling, arms high. Exhale, hands to the heart. Deep breath in, arms reaching overhead. Exhale, diving forward, bent or straight legs, Uttanasana. Inhaling, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, long spine. Fingertips to the mat or fingertips to the shin bones. Exhale, release. Right foot takes a giant step back, finding a low lunge. Coming onto fingertips, we'll roll the shoulders back and down, allowing the chest to puff forward, the gaze to lift slightly. Hands plant into the mat, finding a plank pose. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, knees lower. As the elbows bend, they'll bend back into the body. So they sweep past the rib cage, landing on the belly. Inhale, heart forward, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Toes tuck, hips lift up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Next, exhale, right foot steps forward between the hands. Left foot joins. Uttanasana, forward fold. Soft knees, inhale all the way to stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. Deep breath in, arms are high. Exhale, diving the heart forward, head follows. Inhale, long, flat back. Exhale, release. Left foot steps far back. Rising up onto fingertips, shoulders circle back and slide away from the ears. Heart puffs forward. Hands to the floor, plank pose. Deep breath in here, fill the whole body with air. Exhale, knees lower. Nice and slow, with control, chest lowers. Inhale, scooping heart forward, Bhujangasana, cobra. Exhale, release. Toes tuck, hips lift and lengthen as the head gets nice and heavy. Exhale, left foot steps forward. Right foot joins, forward fold. Soft knees all the way up to stand, arms are overhead. Hands find the heart. Keep flowing with the breath. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, dive forward. Every action gets one full breath. Inhale, long, flat back. Exhale, release, right foot steps back. This time the right knee will lower down to the mat. Back toes point. Press into that pointed back foot to lift the arms high. The little fingers of both hands will spiral inward toward each other. Thumbs in turn spiral outward, widening the back of the body. If it's available, you can start to lift the gaze for a very gentle back bend. Hands find the floor. Back toes tuck. Back leg long, plank pose. Deep breath in. Exhale as you lower. You can lower knees and chest or the whole body in one piece. Inhaling, cobra pose. Exhale, release. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Settling the heels down toward the mat on an exhale. Inhale, the right leg floats up to the sky. Exhale, big step forward, low lunge. Deep breath in. And that full breath out, left foot joins the right foot. Soft knees all the way to stand, arms high. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Full breath in, full breath out. Long, flat back, head to tail. Left foot steps far back. Left knee finding the mat, back toes point. Push down to rise up. As the pelvis gets heavier, the heart gets lighter. Little fingers spiraling inward. Hands to the floor, back toes tucked. Moving through plank, lowering, your choice, in one piece or in two pieces. Heart floats high. And release. Hips lift as the head gets heavy. 10 fingers and 10 toes spreading into the mat. Inhale, left leg lift. Exhale, it steps forward. Deep breath in. Right foot joins, heavy head. In to stand, arms reach high. Out, hands to prayer. In, arms lift. Out, heart dives, head follows. Long, flat back, inhale. Right foot steps back, low lunge. Back knee finds the floor, back toes point. Arms lifting high, knee down crescent. Option to stay here or to clasp the fingers at the base of the skull. Let the head fall back into the hands for a slightly deeper back bend. Use a breath in to send your head back on the spine, arms reach overhead. Hands find the mat. We'll swivel the left foot, heel toe, to the outer edge of the mat. Both hands come to the inside. A variation of lizard pose. This might be it. This might be where you stay for the next series of breath. You might find a little more space to lower your elbows onto a prop or all the way to the mat. As you arrive, wherever you're choosing to stay, let the head hang forward. Listening carefully to the breath, to the rhythm, to the length of each breath. Are they getting shorter? Are they getting longer? Bringing the palms of the hands back to the floor if they're not already there. Swivel that left foot back underneath the nose. Hands are framing the foot. Back toes tuck. Press your right heel away from you to straighten that back leg. Bringing weight onto the right hand. Left fingers reach to the sky. Low twist. Deep breath in. Exhale, two hands to the floor, plank pose. Either lowering in one piece or chaturanga dandasana, lowering halfway, elbows in, scooping the heart forward, upward dog or cobra. Toes tuck, hips lift high, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, a full breath out. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. Exhale, it steps forward to that low lunge. Back knee finds the mat, back toes will point. Coming onto fingertips, take your hands for a walk, carrying your hips with you, so your hips land over that back knee, flexing the right toes. So for some, you might really have to bend that leg. Maybe the fingers don't even quite reach the mat here. Wherever you are, circle the shoulders back. If you have the space, you can start to lay the belly across that front leg. Head hangs. Take the hands for a walk forward. Back toes tuck, back leg lengthens, stepping to your forward fold. Soft knees, inhale all the way to stand. Arms reach high, heels root down. Exhale, hands to the heart. Second side, inhale, arms lift. Diving forward, using your breath. Inhale, halfway lift, and release. Left foot steps back to your low lunge. Left knee lowers, arms reach high. Soft shoulders wherever you are. Option to stay here or interlace the fingers right where the top of the spine meets the base of the skull. And then really like you've made a little hammock for the head. Surrender the weight of your skull. Feel how heavy your head really is. Try not to fall over. Inhaling, head back on the spine, arms high. Hands down, swivel that right foot to the outer edge of the mat. Two hands are now on the inside of the right foot. And arriving gently, consciously, into your lizard variation. So you can really take it step by step. If you feel great here, stay here. If you want to explore coming a little bit lower, take your time. At any point, you can take a step back. We'll stay 3 full, deep breath cycles. If your hands are not already on the floor, walk them back to the floor. Right foot swivels to the center of the mat, hands on either side, back toes tuck. Press your left heel away from you. Rather than think of straightening the knee, really think about the heels movement initiating the lengthening of that leg. Pouring weight into the left hand, right fingers reach high for a twist. As you twist, think about that upper body floating to the sky, the pelvis melting downward. Hands to the floor, stepping through plank. Moving through your vinyasa variation. So any version of lowering, lifting the heart, and making your way back to down dog.
Inhale, left leg floats high, staying parallel, big toe points down. Exhale, step it forward.
Back knee lowering, back toes pointing. Coming onto fingertips as you take your hips for a walk backward. Leave your left foot where it is, and then peel those left toes away from the mat. Long spine. Option to start hinging over the extended leg.
Taking the hands for a walk forward, back toes tucked, right foot steps to meet the left foot. Give the head a little shake here. Bend the knees as much as you need. Press down to rise up. Arms are high.
Exhaling, hands to the heart. Fingertips will continue downward, coming to Tadasana, mountain pose. Very gentle spiraling outward of the thumbs here, encouraging this open space around the collarbones, the shoulders, soft jaw. With an exhale, taking a deep seat into Utkatasana, chair pose. Knees come together. Inner thighs can hug in toward one another for support. Shift your weight even further back into your heels and maybe even lower. Exhale, diving forward, heavy head.
Inhale, long, flat back.
Exhale, release, stepping to a plank pose. Either moving through your variation of vinyasa or coming directly to downward facing dog.
We'll meet in down dog for a breath or two to settle in. With an inhale, the right leg floats up to the sky. Exhale, right foot steps forward, low lunge. Back heel finding the mat. We're preparing for warrior one, so that whole back foot is planted on the floor. From there, the arms can lift high. Virabhadrasana 1, soft shoulders, soft jaw. You can even bend the arms gently if you need. A deep bend in the front knee. Long, strong back leg. Option to stay here. Once again, find that clasp of the fingers behind the head and let the head gently fall into the hands. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, hands to the floor. Stepping right away to downward facing dog. 3 full breaths, in and out through the nose. If you notice that you're sort of fidgeting here, see if you can find stillness. If there are conscious adjustments that you'd like to make sure that you're aware of what and why you're doing them. Inhale, left leg floats to the sky. Exhale, step it forward, low lunge. Back heel finds the mat. Back foot really rooted down, especially the little toe, the pinky toe of the foot. Make it find contact with the floor, arms high. Finding an arm position that encourages openness and softness around the shoulders. Option to stay here, juicy bend in your front knee, or find that clasp of the fingers, elbows opening wide away from each other. Head falls back into the hands. Inhaling, arms high. Exhale, release. Stepping to downward facing dog. Inhale, heels lift, knees bend, look forward. Step or hop your feet to that point just between the thumbs. Coming to a flat back, inhale. And release, exhale. Soft knees, coming up to stand through your chair pose. Bending deeply. Arms reach high. Inner thighs like magnets, drawing together. Exhale, hands to the heart. Once again, we'll sit low into chair pose, inhaling. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, long, flat back. Exhale, moving through your vinyasa however you'd like, or coming directly to downward facing dog. Take your time to get there. Inhale, the right leg lifts high. Exhale, step it forward. Once again, warrior one, back heel finds the mat. Arms reaching high, deep bend in that front knee. Hands will find each other behind the back. Interlace the fingers, slide the shoulders together. Imagine you have a little bead held between the shoulder blades. As the eyes lift, keep that bead where it is. As you dive the heart forward, keep holding on between the shoulder blades the whole way down, the entire way, even as the head releases. Shoulder blades stay moving together. Exhale, the hands move past the pelvis, down to the floor. Spiral the right toes around to face the same direction as the left toes. Head is hanging. You have a great shot of my butt now, apologies. Let the head go. The knees can bend as much as you need. Maybe you take a little sway with the upper body. Otherwise, just hanging heavily forward, letting gravity take over. Gently walking the hands back toward the right foot, flip the right toes to face the top of the mat, moving through a plank pose, either through a vinyasa or directly to down dog. Deep breath in your down dog, left leg lifts high. Exhale, it steps forward, low lunge. Back heel plants, arms raised, Virabhadrasana 1. Find that clasp behind the back. Maybe the other thumb comes on top, shoulder blades slide together, heart puffs forward, gaze lifts. Thinking about the shoulders coming together, the heart opening the entire way down. Even as the head releases from the spine, the heart stays opening. Hands release over the pelvis, down to the floor. Pivot the left toes to face the side of the mat. Coming to your Prasarita Padottanasana, wide leg, forward fold. Either with hands under shoulders, or to come a little deeper, flip the fingers so they face back, and walk the hands back between the legs. Think about pressing into the outer blades of your feet. So you're not collapsing in on the inner arch, but that the whole foot, 4 corners of each foot, pressing evenly into the floor. As you're ready, walk your hands back beneath the shoulders, pivot the left toes forward as your hands walk to meet it, either moving through your vinyasa or directly to down dog. Deep breath in, lift the heels, bend the knees, looking forward. Step or hop your feet to reach your hands. Inhale, long flat back. Exhale, release. Deep bend of the knees, coming to stand through your chair pose. Arms are high, hips are low. Exhale to stand, hands in front of the heart. Take a moment here, you can close the eyes. If you're like me, you're a little bit out of breath right now. So you can take a moment to let the breath regulate and deepen. As you're ready, arms float high overhead, diving forward. Step right away to downward facing dog. Heels and toes together, touching. Right leg floats high. Lifting the right hip on top of the left hip. So you can really float that leg as high as it wants to go. Maybe you bend the knee. Maybe you leave the leg extended. As you exhale, step the right foot forward between the hands. Flip around. Back heel finds the mat. Arms cartwheel to a T shape. Virabhadrasana 2. So in the warrior 2, just like warrior 1, front knee is bent, back leg is lengthening. Looking out over the right fingertips. Inhale, palms flip to the sky. Exhale, reverse the warrior. Inhale, warrior 2.
Exhale, tipping forward, side angle, just for a moment. Dancing warrior, we continue to flow. Inhaling, palms flip, exhale, reverse. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Once more, each position. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhale, tipping forward. Staying in this extended side angle. Maybe the gaze floats up to the sky. Option to stay here. Maybe the right hand lowers toward the floor. Maybe you find a bind, half or full. As you exhale, look down to the right foot. Cartwheel the hands down to the mat, stepping through plank pose. Moving either through your vinyasa or directly to down dog. 3 full breath cycles in downward facing dog. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Twice more, you can let the eyes soften, releasing yourself from your gaze, releasing yourself from any information around you in the space. Even my voice can start to sort of fade into the background. When you're ready, inhale, lift the left leg high, stacking the left hip on top of the right. Let that leg float up, maybe the knee bends. And as you're ready, exhale to step the left foot forward between the hands. Back heel finds the floor. Cartwheel the arms high to your T shape, Virabhadrasana 2. Gaze is out over the left fingertips. Wide stance. Cover a lot of distance between the front foot and the back foot. Inhale, palms flip high. Exhale, reverse the warrior. Finding a little bit of playful flow in the breath. Exhale, tipping forward. Inhale, warrior two. You can sort of blur the edges of each of these positions, allowing for a little bit of flow sensation. Next time that you tip forward, staying in your extended side angle, or finding a variation that suits you. Noticing the depth of your breath, if it's shifted throughout the practice. Releasing any bind, look down to the left foot, cartwheel the hands to the mat, either moving through a last vinyasa or directly to down dog. As you arrive in down dog, gently let the knees lower to the outer edges of the mat, toes point. Hips sit back to the heels, wide leg child's pose. For several deep breaths. The arms in any position where they feel comfortable. Reaching forward, down alongside the body, a prayer pose between the shoulder blades, whatever works for you. As you're ready, slowly walk the hands back toward the body, rolling up through the spine. Weighted pelvis. As you come to sit, bring the knees together so they're touching. And just for a moment, rest the palms of the hands on the legs. A moment of relative stillness to feel this vertical stacking, this natural placement of the head over the heart over the pelvis. Softly letting the eyes open, sit the hips down to one side. Send the legs out in front of you. Give the legs a little shake. If it's challenging for you to sit up nice and tall here, you can bend the knees. We're just going to be here for a moment. Fingertips are down on either side of the pelvis. And just for a moment, press down to the fingertips, just to get a little bit of traction to release a little bit of weight. So it doesn't look like much, but hopefully you feel the pelvis is hanging heavy, the head is reaching tall. And then release. We'll hug the right knee in toward the chest and let the knee fall open. So the left leg is straight, right knee is opening. Left toes flexing back. Inhale, arms to the sky. Take a very subtle twist. Belly button faces the extended leg. Fingertips arc up and out for Janu Shirshasana. Head to knee pose. The hands land anywhere along the outside of the left leg. You don't have to reach the foot or ankle. Might be closer up to the knee or thigh. And as the name of this pose implies, head to knee pose, the head is falling in the direction of the knee. You might reach it, you might not, you might never. Don't worry about it. Just know that this is the aim, or this is the direction we're moving in. As you're ready, slowly walking the hands back toward the pelvis. Right hand comes behind the right hip, pouring your weight into that right hand. We'll lift the pelvis, open the heart, let the head float back off the spine, and then gently soften to the floor. Right knee hugs into parallel, right leg extends. Give the legs a little shake. You can really manually move your muscles, get nice and comfortable with yourself. You're probably spending a lot of time with yourself right now, so hopefully you're already there. And hugging the left knee in toward the chest. Let the left knee fall open. Sitting up nice and tall on both sits bones. Right toes are flexing. Inhale, arms high. Gentle twist to face that right leg. Fingertips arc up and over. This is an important cue, so you don't just collapse forward, but you really think about lengthening as you lower. When you've reached your limit, let the head fall toward the knee. Several deep breaths here. As you're ready, walking your hands back toward the pelvis, rolling up to sit. Left hand behind the left pelvic half. Right arm floats high. With it comes the pelvis, the chest, the head floating off the spine. Just a really big open heart. And then set the hips down. Left knee parallel. Left leg long. Give the legs a little shake. Shake whatever needs to be shaken. And then scoot yourself to the front of your mat. Arms are reaching forward, sitting up nice and tall, on two sits bones. We're gonna roll down sequentially through the spine, a little bit of abdominal engagement. So first, think about the pubic bone lifting up toward the belly button, a little bit of a curve in the back, and then keep reaching fingers forward as you ride that curve all the way down, taking your time. So you're about halfway now. Keep breathing. You might start shaking, that's fine. Keep breathing until eventually the head lowers. Step the heels in closer to the sits bones. Palms of the hands facing down. And let the knees fall like windshield wipers, right and left. Back and forth a few times. Coming back to center, 2 feet pressing into the floor. Slide the shoulder blades together. So again, like we did earlier standing, imagine a little bead held between the shoulder blades. Press the back down into the floor, keeping that bead between the shoulders. The hips start to lift high. We're in a bridge pose. So ideally, if you have that bead between your shoulder blades, you're already standing high up onto your shoulders. If you notice that in order to be here, you're really clenching or squeezing the butt muscles, see if you can let those release and instead press into the feet. So the legs are working
but we're not tightening or cutting off any access to the pelvis. And when you're ready, rolling down through the spine. Bringing the feet as wide as the mat. Let the knees fall into each other, so they stop each other at the midline. Let the hands rest wherever they feel most comfortable. We'll stay here for a few breaths, letting the sacrum widen and release. The sacrum being the bottom of the pelvis, this big triangular bone or series of bones at the back and bottom of the spine. And when you're ready, step the feet parallel once again, heels in line with the sits bones, palms of the hands pressed down, slide the shoulder blades together, chest puffs up, second round of back bend, either another bridge pose, or step your hands to either side of your ears, press down to rise up. Same goes here, let go of the butt muscles, press into hands and feet. Deep breath in and full breath out. Important in your back bend that you keep your breath flowing, that it's not getting trapped in the throat, but continues to move through the whole body. And as you're ready, sequentially moving out of the posture. This time we'll bring the soles of the feet together, knees fall open, Supta Baddha Konasana. If this is too intense for the hips, you can take the alternative option, which is where we just were. Feet wide, knees fall together. Letting the hands rest once again wherever they're comfortable. That might be somewhere on the body or elsewhere. If your hands are on your body, it's a nice measure of the breath. You can actually feel the activity produced by the breathing, the rise and the fall of the belly, the rib cage, maybe even deeper into the pelvis, the diaphragm expanding and contracting. And gently hugging the knees in toward the chest, coming to a little ball. You can squeeze that ball, keeping it relatively still, or if you want a little more activity, let the ball rock and roll side to side. Maybe you draw circles with the knees, really whatever feels good here for the lower back. Coming back to stillness, sending the feet up toward the sky. We'll finish with a happy baby. Reaching for the outer edges of the ankles, or if you can reach, the outer blades of the feet. And then the right knee falls toward the right armpit open, left knee falls toward the left armpit. Idea being that you're really widening the pelvic floor. Those two halves of the pelvis are moving away from each other. You can introduce a little rock side to side, or again, just staying relatively still. And coming back through center when you're ready, knees hug into the chest. Any last actions that you need or want for yourself, now is your chance to take them. You can pause the video. If you're ready to come to a final resting posture, lengthening legs for Shavasana, corpse pose. Palms of the hands flip up to the sky and let the toes fall open. They just kind of flop open naturally so that you're not hanging on anywhere. There's no sense of effort at all. Taking a gentle scan of your body, starting from head, working your way down to toes. And just recognizing, noticing, you're not passing any judgment, you're not necessarily trying to shift or change anything. Just a little bit of a check-in, taking stock of what's in contact with the mat, what feels available, what feels open, what feels blocked. Maybe there are entire parts of the body that you don't even consider as you take this scan. And as you finish your scan, coming back to a deep, full, conscious breath, letting any other sense of obligation go. I will leave you here. Please feel free to stay in this Shavasana as long as you can. Give yourself at least a few good minutes to really seal the practice. Thank you so much for joining, and hopefully I'll see you next week, or you'll see me.